by policymakers. The first thing is, his incisive point is that every civilization has developed skills which are innate to the people of that particular country. Now you go around the country, our weavers, our textile workers all across the country in handlooms have some amazing skills. You go to a sari shop in the south and you see the kind of weaves, the kind of patterns, the kind of color, and all of them do it without proper documentation. You go to Moradabad and see the brassware work, etc. Now the key is, all this innate skill is passed on from father to son in the family, but sadly, because they are exploited by the middlemen, they don't earn the returns commensurate with their efforts. Remember, India is an artisanal economy. 200 million people are engaged as artisans in this country as self-employed. They've been so for thousands of years. India was the largest textile manufacturing country in the world before the British came and destroyed this industry in a very brutal manner. So the skill still exists. So I would say that his focus on looking at existing skill and asking for that to be upskilled is very interesting. And that has been a failure of our national skill mission, because they use the German and the Western model of trying to impose skills, saying population is not skilled. I would argue, Dr. Koshi, and say it is not 20% of the population that is skilled, maybe 80% is skilled. But I would say very correct, very differently to say farmers make up 43% of our population. Now, they have not been trained in an MBA university or any degree college. They know what to grow, how to grow, where to grow. They do quite well. They don't require any certification. So there is there. We have so many artisans and skilled workers who create crafts of unimaginable beauty, and they do it without any support, just on their traditional skills. If you look at a stone sculptor in South India who's sculpting something beautiful, he does it just with just observation, a 3D image. You know, he'll cut the stone and it comes to life. Now, how does it work? Has he got a formal education? What we require is the recognition of prior skills in this country. And that's very important, because we get a bad name saying people are not skilled, etc. So I think upskilling by bringing in digital technologies, recognizing prior skills, and putting it in a modern format is extremely important, and allowing them to sell too. In the FICCI Seal Council, we started an effort with Northeast India to get all the artisans on the digital platform with the big e-commerce companies to enable the global markets to go by and connecting them to markets. So we have to work on an initiative to upskill them using technology, particular digital technology, and then use that to make sure that they're able to sell what they produce around the world using digital technology. And today, the price for handcrafted, bespoke, artisanal products are very high. People are willing to pay a high price. They don't want run-of-the-mill manufactured product which looks the same as anybody else. The millennials certainly don't want that. They're paying a price because they want bespoke. That is one. Second important thing which he has pointed out, which is very important, is the need for upskilling, looking at modern technology in manufacturing and many other industries. Now, over the last 10 years, all industries have got automated. The skills that people had by the hand is gone, because we have robots, we have artificial intelligence and machines at work. So those people working there require a new kind of skills. And tomorrow, maybe in the next 3-4 years, we'll have robots carrying goods on the head. So we don't require laborers, the robots will do it for us. So there's a need for reskilling those people to improve productivity. And also, I think he has also recognized very clearly the solution for this country lies in the use of digital technology in a very big way. Why digital technology? Digital technology reduces the need for experts to train people. It allows people to simulate and to do things and understand with 3D imaging very easily, and makes them understand, because research proves that when you have a video, voice and sight, you understand it much better than you hear in a classroom or anything else. Of course, all of them require practice with the hands, because skilling only comes when you use your hands, you use your head, you observe and do it. So on-the-job training is extremely important. I think that's another point that he makes. And the third point that he makes is very important, is that we need more and more apprenticeship and on-the-job experience. Now, why is Germany possibly the most productive country in the world with high question was asked, China with low labor skills and high productivity is facing competition from Germany with very high wages and high productivity. Why is that? Because the productivity of a Japanese worker is 3 to 4 times that of China, and that makes up for the wage differential in the country. So I think that's a very important thing to understand and to say that we need to skill people using digital technologies and make it very, very different. And it has to be done on the job. And if you look at Germany, right from school and college, they go into a different stream and they're allowed to take a degree. In India, we have a fetish that every parent wants their children to take a degree, and that's why they go through some courses which don't have any meaning, like a BA in English or whatever it is. And that is a tragedy, because people think a degree is prestigious, but work with the hand is not prestigious enough. I think that's an important point. And for that, we must allow people to get credits for their skilling and use their credits to get a degree so they can be recognized. And that will set right this craze for getting a degree. Let everybody have a degree. Why can't they get a degree in carpentry? Why can't a degree in sculpture? Just because I can get credits for actual work experience, I can learn a little bit of theory. And the last point that he makes, which is very, very good, is that we must give a brand image and respect to our artisans. Now, people look up to certain people as exemplars and follow them, right? Why is it we don't respect our artisans? Why is it we don't respect our master craftsmen? Why is it we don't respect our master weavers the same manner that we respect possibly a government babu, right? I mean, it's a feudal image that we have of the British who try to come and impose having lower level people to ascertain command over everybody else, a very feudal notion. Now we must get our artisans, make heroes out of them, and create brands for them. So in fashion technology, many people are getting all these artisans and master weavers and making them into brands. Why can't they get their own brands? So we must create a new wave whereby we give respect to people. Once people get respect, they will, go into that fashion very well. And that respect will only come by recognition. And I think Dr. Koshi's job in the apparel industry has a lot to do with this, because I have written a big book, right, Doc, where you cataloged all the different skills that people have and said they must be recognized, right? The first time anybody created a catalog of the varied skills that people of this country have. So I think, the book is a eye-opener for me and for many other people. I hope policymakers will draw lessons from that and reorient the skill development policy using all the inputs.
Thank you. In a robot-driven world, your emphasis on artisans' economy that India is, with 200 million artisans, and if we grant good respect, due respect to their work and due respect to the work done by hands, India can probably carve a niche for itself in the global footprint. Mohandas ji, I would also like to know that is there any more need for more awareness and deeper engagement on the subject of skilling and a stronger industry, education, vocational education partnership to really achieve the goal of becoming India as a skill capital for the world? Is this really an achievable dream?
It is an achievable dream. It has happened in India in the industry where I was associated. I'll explain about that. And the big flaw in our policy is the government should bring strong links with employers. Of course, they got the Skill Council, which are supposed to be driven by employers, but politically and to the bureaucracy, they must engage more, make them adopt and make them use that. For example, in construction, L&T has done. Now, I'm part of the IT industry. I joined Infosys when India's total revenues were $50 million of exports in 1994. And every year there was a shortage of people, right? And we had a target of reaching 50 billion by 2010. And of course, we exceeded 50 billion by 2010. And today we are at about $165 billion with 4.5 million people employed. McKinsey made a report to say by 2020, we will have a shortage of 500,000 engineers. What did we do? Now, we needed people. We got an output from college which was not suited to us. So we went to college, we hired the best people who had two kind of skills. Learnability, which is defined as an ability to draw generic inferences from specific instances, and analytical and logical thinking. We didn't test them for the domain knowledge. We didn't test them for the knowledge of technology. We didn't want that. We said, can you think? Are you logical? Do you have a personality which is conducive to hard work? Then we brought them to a campus. We set up a school and we trained them. And over the years, we spent a lot of money training. For example, we built a global university in Mysore, spending 2,000 crore rupees with 10,000 residential rooms, fully air conditioned, the largest gyms in the country, the largest laundry, a 4-stage cinema theater, cricket grounds, everything better than any university in India and better than any global university. And we trained 30,000 people a year. Mysore produced more software engineers globally than any country in the world, barring the United States and China. And we spent 5 lakhs for each one of them per year. We paid them a salary after hiring them and we trained them. And we created this industry so that by 2010, when we had the $50 billion, I mean, there was no shortage. McKinsey was totally wrong. And even today, there's no shortage. Yes, there is a disparity between wanting certain skills. That market constraint is always there because the matching constraint, and that happens because of geographical dispersion, and concentration of work that's required. So I think, industry did that. The software industry did this in this country, and they spent 2 to 3% revenues, and it's paid off. They created the largest skilled workforce in software in 20 years. And today, out of the top 10 software service companies, the market value in the world, 5 are Indian. Of the top 5, 3 are Indian. Of the 2 million employees in the top 10, 1.5 million are Indians. So India has become the global hub. Why can't it happen for garments? Why can't it happen for steel? Why can't it happen for construction? Why can't it happen elsewhere? And we said we'll produce those engineers of high quality mapped to global standards. At one point of time, I had 600 computer science professionals, teachers under my education department reported to me as director of HR later, 600, more than any university in the world. And we set up this facility. So I think industry should come together. If industry says this is not cost effective because we in software earn more money. Yes, we earn more money. We had very good margins. We had operating margins of 30% plus, and we could afford it. If they say no money, government must subsidize some of the training costs. And that is where the policy lacuna is. Because you try to get a lot of training companies who have not done anything useful in their life and who never interact with the employers to come and give theoretical training and then to say you got something. Why don't you use employers and get them and pay money for training people? L&T can produce surplus workers and give it to everybody else. Myco has been doing apprenticeship for a long time. Why can't you tie up with Myco and ask them 2x? I think we got to get an employer-driven skill development program, and as a nation, we got to do it. Because today, India can become the manufacturing hub of the world. We can become, because China has become very expensive. The world wants diversity away from China, and to that we have to be productive. Now, productivity depends on 2 factors: productivity of labor, productivity of capital. Productivity of capital will come by automation, lesser interest rates. Productivity of labor will come by higher skills and more productivity. And that's where people have to work. So I think the model has been established. Many industries have done it. And I think it's important that, other industries come together.
Very interesting. Linkage with the industry is very important, and government must subsidize training cost to give the
all governments around the world do it. If you go to Europe, you say, I'm going to hire 1,000 people, they'll come and give you a lot of money and say, hey, here's the grant, because they all want jobs. We want jobs in this country. We want good paying jobs. Good paying jobs will come if people are productive. If you have produced 2x what